Honourable Amy Adams.
Mr Speaker, you've got to say, sitting here in the House day after day, it's getting harder and harder to figure out who the Leader of the Opposition is, isn't it? It's getting harder and harder to sit here and work out who's actually leading the opposition. We've got the Greens scrapping for Russell Norman's job, and given the enthusiasm with which they're going after that, they clearly think it's them. We know that in New Zealand First, they've banned leadership contests. They're not allowed in New Zealand First. And Labor's had 3 leadership contests and still can't find a Leader of the Opposition that anyone likes. But Mr Speaker, one thing remains true, and that is, no matter who's driving the bus on the left, no matter who's in charge of the opposition parties, they hate it when New Zealand does well.
That's right.
Don't they hate it? Don't they hate the reality that New Zealand is envied across the world? They truly are merchants of misery. They're at their happiest when there's doom and gloom to peddle. Mr Speaker, we know New Zealand is growing at 3.5% a year, one of the fastest in the world. We know average wages are up. We know that employment is growing, and don't they hate it? They absolutely hate it. Mr Speaker, the reality is that New Zealand is on a track that is envied by most of the world. You only have to read any international respected media, and the commentary on New Zealand is, look at what New Zealand's doing, why can't we do that? And yet in New Zealand, we've got opposition parties, Mr Speaker, who want to pretend that the sky is falling. They hate it. They want to get excited about all sorts of sideshows and miss the fact that New Zealand and our leader are held up across the world and as absolute beacons of how to get it right. This week, Mr Speaker, let's look at this week. This week we've got Andrew Little posing for selfies with Ed Miliband while the Prime Minister is off in the Gulf brokering a trade deal that will put more jobs into New Zealand, that will raise incomes for New Zealanders, that will create more of the things that this country needs. It means growing incomes for our Kiwi families and our Kiwi mums and dads. Mr Speaker, it means New Zealand will keep having some of the lowest mortgage interest rates that it has had for many years, and it means, sir, that we will continue to have an economy that can deliver the things that Kiwi families want. It can deliver greater ECE for our children, more high-quality early childhood education for more students. It can deliver parental tax credit increases, extending them and increasing them for those in the lowest income brackets. Mr Speaker, it means we can deliver on things like free health care for children under 13 in this country. That's the dividend of a growing economy, free health care for those under 13. Mr Speaker, it means that 90,000 first home buyers will opt into their first home under the Home Start package that my colleague Nick Smith has delivered. It means hundreds of millions of dollars of ACC levies returned to Kiwi families, put back into the pockets of hard-working families. Mr Speaker, it means extended paid parental leave. It means any number of policies that really help New Zealand families get ahead. Mr Speaker, this is a government that is helping to keep women and children safer in their homes when they want to leave a violent, abusive or domestic relationship. Mr Speaker, we have ensured that the most vulnerable people in our justice sector, women, children, young people, are protected through tougher bail laws, tougher parole laws, tougher sentencing laws, whether they're being victimised in the community, in their families, sir, or online. Mr Speaker, we know it's working. We know that more Kiwis are voting with their feet to return home. We know more students are getting NCEA Level 2 thanks to the good work of Hekia Parata. We know more people are getting elective surgeries. We know more children are getting immunised. We know our communities are safer. We have the lowest crime rates in New Zealand we've had since 1978 because this is a government that protects New Zealand families, that keeps them in work, that keeps incomes rising. Mr. Speaker, over the last few years we've raised more than $16 million for the Victim Offenders Levy alone to help 6,000 victims a year. Mr. Speaker, this is a government that is providing for New Zealand families, that is creating action, while Andrew Little's Labour Party continues to do nothing and have no vision for this country.